This title is narrated with virtual voice, computer-generated narration for audiobooks. How to Find a Good Feng Shui House by Jenny Nakao Hones. Forward. The Feng Shui principles found in this book follows Blue Mountain Feng Shui Institute teachings. Founded in 1989 by Dr. Shan-Tung Shu, Blue Mountain Feng Shui Institute is located in Bellevue, Washington. The institute teaches the oldest and longest traditional feng shui called Form School Feng Shui. The philosophy follows Chinese natural principles and is the basis upon which the magnificent imperial palaces, temples, cities, and gardens of China were built. Dr. Shu was born and raised in Taiwan. He grew up in a family with a tradition of working with natural energy and a strong connection to traditional Chinese philosophy. After graduating from the National Taiwan University, he attended the University of Washington in Seattle, where he earned a PhD in chemistry. Dr. Shu teaches worldwide, sharing decades of knowledge, blending his training in Western science, ancient Chinese philosophy with energy work of Qigong, Taiji Chuan, and Feng Shui. Website: http://blue-mountain-feng-shui-institute.com. In harmony with nature, in tune with the heart. Introduction. The first time I came across Feng Shui was when I was a teenager attending an international school in Tokyo, Japan. Being Japanese American from Hawaii, Feng Shui was not part of our family culture. However, it was part of my Chinese classmates' culture. Since she was an only child and I was one of 7, I ended up spending a lot of time in her home. Her mother was full of wisdom. I loved how she kept us entertained by reading our Chinese horoscope or telling us stories of old China. On one of my visits, she happened to be reading a book on Feng Shui. She explained that this was an ancient Chinese practice on how a house could affect your fortune and luck. I was intrigued. I never heard of such a concept before. How could a home affect a person's fortune and luck? Was that even possible? But being a teenager, nowhere near living on my own, I never thought about it again. It didn't have any relevance to me at the time as having a home was too far in the future. Well, the future does come. It was about 30 years before I came across the word Feng Shui again. By this time I was married and a mother of 3 sons, living in the suburbs of Seattle. Having been a stay-at-home mom and out of the workforce for many years, I decided to go back to school to study interior design. Unlike many of my classmates, I was a mature student. By this time in my life, I had lived in many different homes in many different countries. I had real-life experience and believed that I could help a lot of people create their dream home. Because I'm very sensitive to space, my goal was not only to create functional and beautiful spaces, I wanted it to feel good too. In school, they taught us many concepts for functionality and beauty. But I always felt like the feeling part was missing. I figured that it would come in due time, with experience. A couple years after I graduated from design school, I started taking ikebana lessons. Ikebana is the Japanese art of flower arrangement. The Ikebana chapter of Seattle often invites guest speakers to broaden our understanding of design. This particular month, our speaker at the Seattle Asian Art Museum was Dr. Shan-Tung Shu, a Feng Shui master. Ooh, Feng Shui master, I thought. That piqued my interest. It had been a long time since I heard the term Feng Shui. I recalled my childhood days with my friend's mother. Now, as an interior designer, I was intrigued by how Feng Shui affected a house. Little did I realize that this lecture would change the course of my life. Unlike much of the information on Feng Shui I read, Dr. Shu's lecture didn't talk about Feng Shui frogs or fountains. It wasn't about magical numbers or superstitions either. It was about understanding the flow of energy and how moving a table just 1 inch can change the way you feel. I was hooked. This was the beginning of my Feng Shui journey. Dr. Shu is no ordinary Feng Shui master. Born and raised in Taiwan, he comes from a family with a tradition of working with natural energy, and has deep knowledge of Chinese philosophy.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.